Philip, you are A, delightful in the kitchen with that shirt, and B...
Can you see me? I'm surprised.
Well, it's just because you were against a blank wall. If you're against that wall, I would never have noticed you.
Yeah, it's fair.
But I would like to say that it is a delight to live with a man whose clothes thrill me every single day of my life. I never know what you're going to wear, and with the exception of the dungarees, I always like it.
I think I need to see that.
Ruby and Lancelot are cuddling. Oh.
And Ruby is here to tell me that I need
It's
to
time for, time for breakfast. Morning, Ruby. Est-ce que tout se passe bien aujourd'hui?
Oui, on avance dans les finitions.
Oui.
Quand Stéphane a appliqué son or, on appelle ça les barbages. La miction passe des fois un peu derrière le pochoir, et du coup ça fait...
C'est flou.
C'est un peu flou. Donc on reprend pour redonner de la nervosité au motif. Donc on est en train de faire ça. Camille est en train de faire le tour des petits trucs qui vont pas. Le petit filet vert qui est entre les deux petits filets dorés.
Oui.
Donc on lui redonne un peu plus de pêche parce qu'il est un peu terne. Alban est en train de reprendre les petits cernets autour de chaque motif.
Waouh, ça c'est long.
Oui, c'est long. Et c'est un peu, on attaque des phases un peu rébarbatives parce qu'il y a plus de 200 étoiles à faire. Donc c'est ce qui va donner l'homogénéité au décor. Le décor d'origine est posé, mais il y a toujours une petite variable. C'est pas précis. Et en fait, chaque rond sert pour variable d'ajustement. C'est-à-dire, on lui permet de tricher un peu, quoi. Comme le type qui a fait le décor à l'origine.
Oui, very clever. Well, invigorated by everything that's going on in the chapel, I've come back up to the attic because I have a lot more work to do up here before this area is clear, and I'm absolutely determined this time. I'm convinced that until I let go of all of this, let's face it, quasi-hoarding up in the attic, I won't be able to face the future properly, full of creativity. It is time for every area of this chateau to be clean and tidy. But to get to that stage, I still have a long way to go, and I keep seeing really cool things like these, which were gifts. Little individual coffee filters, and they're so beautiful. I'm sure we can find a spot for those down in the kitchen. Let's see if I can make some improvements in this corner today. I've only been working for about half an hour and already I feel quite traumatised. I don't think I should do this alone. I found some photos and I was really excited because I thought, oh great, I'll be able to show you photos of Beacon House, which I'm still looking for, but I haven't unearthed them yet, though I know we've got them somewhere. And instead, I found the speech that I wrote for my father's funeral, as well as his death certificate and lovely photos of us together. That was me graduating from music college. Mummy and Jerry spoke to me before the funeral saying that they didn't have the heart to speak. They just couldn't. And so I said that I would do the speech for Daddy. And this is what I wrote. It began, "My father was a quiet, unassuming, self-contained man, yet he profoundly changed the lives of those around him," which is very true. And I think this sums up my father so beautifully that I'm going to put all of it in the description copy below, in case any of you are curious about my father's life. I talk about him meeting Jerry for the first time. I talk about the way he first approached my mother on their first date. In fact, I can read that bit out. He started nursing training in Exeter, where he met a certain young Frenchwoman who spoke barely a word of English. He approached her with his habitual charm and ease in the company of others, with the phrase, "Do you want to come out with me? You have 5 minutes to decide, but if you say no, I'll never ask again." Luckily, my mother's fellow French students were more intrigued by this offer than she was and forced her to go. Presumably the date went better than the introduction because they were married 6 weeks later. In many ways, this speech charts the journey of my family to the chateau. It starts with Daddy being bombed in London during the Blitz when he was just a baby in his cot and the house collapsed around him, through to him being sent away to a convalescent home for a year when he was a young child, when he had a heart condition from rheumatic fever, deciding at the young age of about 10 that he wanted to better his life and studying to get a scholarship into a grammar school, to meeting my mother and buying their first home together, which was a caravan in Exeter. When I first unearthed this along with his death certificate, I thought, oh, I'm not going to cope. I've got to stop. I was spiralling. But then when I sat down and read it, instead of crying, all these happy memories flooded back to me. And I think that's the difference that time makes in loss. You can start to remember the good times without them saddening you. But actually, I was laughing at some of the things in here and all the memories it brought back. On a much happier note, I found glorious photos of the cupboard that I lived in at Nick's house. I think I've told many of you before that when I first moved to London, I didn't have a flat there. Nick had a 2-bedroom flat, but he had a lodger, and he had a tiny lean-to cupboard halfway up his stairs on the landing, and it was big enough to crawl into, and you could sit up at one end and not at the other, and it was nearly the floor space of a double mattress. So I had a mattress made to fit, and I lined all of the walls with fabric, and I covered them with butterflies. Unfortunately, I haven't found the photos of it finished with the butterflies in place, but this shows you the size of the cupboard that I lived in. And what's even more hilarious is that when I first met Michael, he moved into that cupboard with me. So there were 2 people living in that cupboard at Nick's. So the 3 of us have moved from a shared flat with 2 of us living in a cupboard to a chateau, which is pretty amazing. But when I look around here, I realise that there's still a lot of work to do here too. Though in all the homes we've lived in together, there's one thing that has never changed: the importance of the staple gun in decorating. I've just found an entire bag full of inspiration photos that I've taken from magazines. Back when I first came to Lalande, probably. Maybe some since then as well. So I am going to take this to my study to sort through them, because I'm sure a lot of these can go. And I'm going to be a lot more comfortable down there to go through this bag. Well, it's a huge mess of papers, but this is a much nicer place to work. And it's going to take ages to sort it out because in between lots of inspiration photos, there's some of the original receipts. This is curtain fabric that I bought for Lalande. I think this one was probably for Chambre Rose, but I'm not too sure. And this is the copper bath that is in my bathroom here, which my father bought for me when we first bought the chateau. I must say that my view is even better than usual whilst I'm working today. Look at that beauty. It's Hansel who's come to visit me, and he's so curious he keeps looking in the window. I've never seen him so close here. Hello. I don't understand how everyone in the world doesn't want peacocks. I know they poo everywhere. I know they make a noise sometimes, but there is nothing more perfect than this. When you're sitting working in your office and you have this sight, it takes a bird feeder to a whole new level. I would just like to say that we haven't painted those windows yet, so that absolute mess around each window pane was not done on our watch. We're waiting till we have them double glazed and then we can repaint everything. And if you thought that sight was spectacular, this is the view from my dressing room at the moment. Thor really does put all the other peacocks to shame. But at least they have a chance of growing up just like you one day, Thor. I especially love it when his tail is billowing in the breeze. It has always prepared his own wind machine to show himself off to best advantage. I'm getting on really well in there, but I have to stop now because sadly it's time for Michael Potts to leave Lalande and I promised to drive him to the train station. Your chariot awaits, sir. Well, this is miserable.
Yes.
I don't want you to go.
No.
No.
No one wants me to
It's
go.
poo.
It is. It's smelly.
This is a nightmare because, of course, we didn't leave maybe quite as much time as we should have. And I've just realised we need petrol as well.
Why didn't we leave enough time as we ought to have? Stephanie Jarvis.
No, you were faffing with bags.
And I was faffing too.
And it was also...
I was faffing with a dog.
Yes.
There was quite a bit of faffing with restorers as well.
Yes.
We've stopped at the petrol station for what Michael says is going to be a Formula 1 speed tank fill. Finally, all that Formula 1 experience is paying off for him. Bye-bye, see you soon, I hope.
Yes. Hope to be back
It's
very,
been
very soon.
so fun.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye, bye. Safe journey.
Thank you.
Where are you off to next?
Budapest.
Of course.
Yes.
Ah, home sweet home. Oh, and not only do I spot a beautiful Thor, I spot the work going on to put that stone back. What excellent news. C'est très chouette de vous revoir.
Oui.
Ça s'est bien passé
Très, très bien.
sur l'autre chantier?
C'est ça.
D'accord, mais c'est bien que vous êtes revenu maintenant. Alors là, vous remettez la pierre.
C'est ça.
For those of you who didn't see the video, this entire stone was ripped out by the force of the cable that was attached to it, being pulled out by a digger that was walking around here to repair our septic tank. So it's just the most extraordinary thing. Rather than breaking the phone wire stayed solid and took the stone out. Absolute madness. It is so windy that if I try and talk over this, all you're going to hear is the wind. So let's have some soothing music as we see the stone being lifted into place. And the chateau is whole again. Félicitations! Super! Now just the repair to the metal on top. Sebastian just brought this down to show us. This was just behind the stone up there, and it's very, very old, but this was a hornet's nest. So it shows that we had the start of a hornet's nest up there in the past, not too big. It seems like a lot of hornets to me, but fascinating, up there all along. Luckily it was an old one, so they're not having to battle with hornets up there now. C'est chouette quand même, hein?
Oui.
C'est vraiment intéressant.
Il travaille bien. Hein.
Ah oui. C'était dans la gouttière?
Dans la gouttière. Vous voyez à côté de la petite...
La petite tourelle.
Voilà, la petite tourelle.
Wow.
Ils ont profité de...
Wow, mais c'est pas possible. C'est la journée des découvertes. On avait un jardin qu'on ne savait pas dans le toit. Comment c'est arrivé là-haut tout ça?
Et ça, c'est avec les oiseaux. Quand ils montent des fois des graines qui échappent.
Oui.
Donc en fait, ça repousse...
Oui, les graines, je comprends, mais cette quantité de terre, ça, c'est quand même surprenant.
Vous avez la forme de la gouttière.
Oui.
Et donc là, c'était bien parce que là, il y avait les racines, donc nickel. Par contre, ça bouchait.
Et l'eau, voilà, ils avaient tout. Mais et nous, on n'avait plus de gouttière.
Voilà, et ça bouchait.
Hanny and Philip are just back from the shop, so let's see what goodies there are. Someone's very happy to see you again.
I love that he does the same hold-up-the-ball excitement when he sees either YouTube.
Oh mon Dieu! Oh, I know!
Well, you said you wanted to do some...
Nibbly dinner!
Yes.
I love nibbly dinner!
That's what you ended up getting.
Okay, let's make a beautiful table and have lots of nibbles. Philip and Hanny are preparing the great nibbly dinner in the kitchen, and Lancelot and I have come on an evening walk. It's still so light everywhere else, but it's quite dark in the woods now. It's so peaceful here. Lancelot and I love our evening walks, don't we, darling? We've come to the back of the walled garden, and so we'll go home this way. What a perfect evening. All of the dahlias have come out now. The beds are looking gorgeous. Maria's going to be so happy for her flower arrangements. And the gazebo is covered with roses and jasmine. And we're going to walk back through one of the blackberry arches. And, oh my goodness. Could that be my first blackberry of the year? Yes, I think it could. I think it's ready. We definitely have some that are ripe now. That's delicious. Because I've only just started, I don't dare pick any more in case Marie wants them for the guests this weekend. Because there's just a few, but oh my goodness, it's so good. And all of the clematis have come out too. I mean, I can barely get down through the arches. They're just laden with flowers and fruit. Absolutely gorgeous. Oh my goodness, Lancelot, look at Sif. Oh, that was so cute. Baby riding on mummy. I think she's just saying good night to us. You two know how to do nibbly night in style. Look at this. Oh, you're just happy because the wine's being opened.
Stab Philip.
This is so beautiful. So what is there? Celeriac, cucumber, beetroot, tzatziki. This is gorgeous. This was a gift from one of our guests.
Yes.
And it was apparently used as a display in the window of Fortnum and Mason. It doesn't open, it doesn't do anything
also an asparagus.
other than make us happy.
Look.
Oh yeah, and an
Amazing.
asparagus came with it. Then guacamole and avocado mixed. Garlic, nachos, gherkins. Ooh, salami and smoked salmon. Olives, tomato dip. This is ridiculous. Carrots, and of course, cheeses on the cheese board that I found in the attic. Yes, the cheese board was located in the attic and has been scrubbed many times with boiling water. And a cabbage containing crisps. What a day to be alive! This is wine that was brought as a gift from a lovely person who came to the patron days, whose brother lives in a chateau near here, and we're basically practically neighbours. Well, they're 2.5 hours away. That makes us neighbours. Wow, it's a super early dinner tonight. I love it. This is nice.
Cheers.
Cheers, all. Cheers.
Cheers.
It may just be 4 of us, but it's still fun.